Hi everybody, Todd from tswoodandleather. Today we're going to make a custom cutting board for a friend of mine who's also another pilot. His name is Zach, and he wants an 18 by 24 by an 1.75 inch big boy cutting board with a juice groove, and he also wants me to implement the colors of the stripes on the tail of his airplane. And those stripes are black, which I'm going to use Wenge, red, which is going to be Padauk, and gray, which is Walnut. So that's the color scheme. The main color of the board is going to be cherry. I got a big slab of cherry over here that we're going to strip out and cut up. It's going to be great. I'm going to take you from start to finish on a custom cutting board right now. The wood milling is all done. We have the cherry strips. They're about 1.25 inches wide. And then we have the Wenge, Padauk, and Walnut for the colored strips. 2 inch on the end, just for a nice little cap. This final dimensions of this board is going to be 18 wide, 24 long, and 1.75 inches tall. It's going to be plenty heavy. Zach does not want feet. We don't need feet. It's not going to move anywhere. And then we're going to put a juice groove in and finger grooves in the sides so you can manhandle this beast. Otherwise, we're done for today. We just have to go to the glue up table and glue it up.
For all my projects, I use Titebond III wood glue. It is food safe and 100% waterproof.
This thing is heavy. Oh man, it's a big boy. Ooh. There we go.
Here we go.
All right, so we're done with the flattening, and it always makes me a little nervous, but it's okay. My table's not level, but I always check level, especially on bigger projects. I get the level out, make sure everything is nice and flat on every conceivable edge. And it is. And then I also check the bottom to make sure that it is too, because if the bottom's not level, it doesn't matter if the top's level. They both have to be. So that's done. 80 grit sandpaper in my drum sander left a lot of scratches, but we'll take care of that in the sanding process. The next stage is to true up the edges. Make sure everything's square and get the right dimensions. Zach wanted an 18 by 24 by 1 3/4. That's what we're gonna give him. And then we'll go on to the juice groove, put that in, finger grooves, put that in, and then start the sanding process. So by the end of the day, we'll have this in the dunk tank and soaking up some mineral oil. So for this one, being a big boy board, I'm gonna swap out the 1/2 inch round nose for the juice groove with a 5/8 inch. So it will have plenty of room for lots of juice. If you like the juice, like the juice. Again, I use white side bits for almost all my router stuff, very high quality stuff. And they cost a little bit more, but man, are they worth it. And they stay sharp forever. I have yet to have to replace a bit because it got dull. I also don't set the bit all the way down against the shaft, because sometimes the end of the bit will be off a little bit and it'll tweak just a little bit, and then you clamp it down and it's twisted. So you always leave a little gap and let the collet, which is the tightening device, true it up, and that'll keep it true on the shaft of the bit. So this is real easy. There's a lock right there, and you just crank it down. Doesn't have to be overly tight, but I like to make it nice and snug. And then for the first pass, it will be relatively shallow. I'm just going to make sure I got my spacing right and I'm not off. And then that way, if it is off, I can usually go back and fix it. So I'm going to go really shallow. You can see just a little bit is showing there. And that'll just be kind of my guide run. So let's cut a juice groove. We're gonna do the roundovers first, and I have to switch out this is unplugged, and it also has a separate kill switch, so I am not worried about working on it. And we need to swap out both the bit and the collet. This is a 1/4 inch collet that's in here right now. And my roundover bit is 1/2 inch. You can see that's a 1/4 inch collet. And I have a 1/2 inch right here. There's the 1/2 inch. There's the shaft. So real simple process on this one. I use the Triton router in this router table. It's a real common one. A lot of woodworkers like it because it's almost made for router tables. It has a separate adjustment, micro adjustment, and you can put a rod down and it hooks right to a joint on the router. And it actually even has instructions in the box of how to take off the plunge spring, or take out the plunge spring so you can use it in a router table. And they are very, very good, very powerful routers. Not cheap, but very good. I like it a lot. So next I have to set up my table for the finger grooves. And I'm going to replace the bit with a cove bit with a top bearing, which I've showed before in other videos. And that will cut out a nice slot for the finger groove. And then I also have to set up stops on my fence to be able to stop either side of the finger groove. Now I'm going to put about a 6-inch finger groove on this one because it's a big boy board. So it's 18.5 inches. So 6 inches on top of that, 24.5. So 12.25 is where I want my fences to be. And that should give me a 6-inch, roughly a 6-inch finger groove. Doesn't have to be exact. But you want it as close as you can. The big boy cutting board, about 18.5 or so by 25 inches and almost an inch and 5/8 thick. Turned out great. Nice and flat, sanded to 400 grit, butter smooth. We have the main is cherry, and then we have Wenge, Padauk, and Walnut for the black, red, and gray stripe on Zach's airplane. I think he's going to be really happy with it. We got a really nice juice groove, 5/8 inch diameter, and I also have finger grooves on both sides. This is not a light board, but that's what we want. Nice heavy board so it doesn't move around easily. And it's plenty big for briskets and turkeys and all the good stuff. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like this content, like, subscribe, send to a friend, comments down below, links down below. Check out my website, tswoodandleather.com. Until next time, love ya. See ya.